Hi, Truth Warriors. Thank you for joining me on another episode. And we're going to break down a little bit about doublespeak in real life and wordplay. And in my next episode, I'm going to delve into this book since I've been going into. I have to scan the pages in. That way I can show it up on the monitor while I'm reading so people can see. Because I like doing vids like this too, to show like doublespeak happens in real time every day. And it's definitely brainwashing, it's self-deception. And they say lying is the source. A lot of psychologists are saying that lying is the source of all mental illness. And that makes a lot of sense, because if you keep telling yourself something that's contrary to reality, how does that not induce a psychosis? And this reality is one big psychosis. And that's why a lot of us gotta break it down, do these videos, because there's a lot of people searching on these forums for truth, and this was all inspired too, because this touches upon another vid I did on one of my other channels, which is called Dash, and I had to do a Dash 2.0 because it's so evident that YouTube is controlled. I'm sure Big Pharma has a hand in it too, so when you go into it too much, they'll pull your vids off and all of that. I mean, I've been having that happen. I've only been putting up vids for probably 7 months or 6.5 months, and this is already like fourth channel, third. It's crazy. So Alpha 7 has just one warning. So I still have like a couple of chances, but my Dash, it's on its last leg. So I tried to be a little proactive, and I have a BIT CHUTE, so I'll put the link, because this vid also complements that. So I'm probably going to put this vid up there. I might, just because of what we're going to talk about, because I'm going to put yet another clip from the show Dopesick from Hulu. And if you don't have it, it's so worth it. And I totally appreciate Hulu for being gracious enough, and whoever put out this show, the creators were nice enough to let me, use a little bit of the sample, because a lot of, I had a low budget, creator who made a documentary. It was called The MOTHMAN Prophecies. And they literally took the vid right off. Like, I thought I was promoting them, so I always tell people, watch the stuff yourself, and just to let you know that, yes, you are in the Twilight zone, and they love using that swirl, and they want to put the masses to sleep so they can do all kind of atrocities. Everyone's like into all these media stories. I mean, I guess there was like an incident too with the Christmas parade. I'm not sure if it was in Wyoming, but everyone's all about partying, and it's like no matter how disturbed this reality is, everyone wants an excuse to party. It doesn't slow them down one bit, and everyone's mass medicated. Most people shouldn't even be on the road, guys. Like, you notice when you out there on the road, like, you have to be a defensive traveler, driver, right, in commercial term, but yeah, you need to always be defensive when you're on the road, because if I wasn't so alert, it's like exhausting going just to a few places to avoid getting crashed into, you know what I mean? And even in the Wizard of Oz, they were telling us too, which is funny, because oxys, all these pain medications, everyone thinks they need a pill and a potion. I was going into the Jefferson Airplane song lyrics, the pill song, basically. The White Rabbit song really, really exposes how they just want to put everybody out of their minds. A chemical lobotomy is the same thing as a mechanical lobotomy. People are just totally detached from their own soul, and a lot of evil's going on, and especially these wicked holidays that I call out. You think any of all this death, you know, I keep calling out like more death's gonna come upon us, and you're trying to sound the war drum, but everyone's like, you know, how Dorothy was, just like that, you know, and pretty much going to these Dr. Kevorkians, and they want to put you in the eternal sleep. So this book was fascinating too, because just to connect the oxycodone to the clip I'm going to show you, and how they renamed things, how they wanted to redefine pain. And when you hear the guy talking and you watch the show, it sounds like he's more heartbroken, and he's talking about some existential spiritual pain, you know, like it's inhumane. Like, if people only know, a lot of these idiots, they project their own pain onto, you know, the social collective, and it just, you know, and it's just in line of promoting their poison, and a lot of their, you know, pills, we'll call them pills, okay, because they are, and they will be rebranded, okay. So I'm trying to be mindful, because it's like the thought police is always gunning for me. But anyway, it's all derived from this book too, and they go to all these countries under the guise of all these fake campaigns, and then, you know, they're getting all of their exotic flowers, and in the Far East, you know, they were big unknown which plants were toxic. And a lot of people don't realize that, you know, a lot of this pharmakia that's going on in these hospitals, and in the, you know, it's basically, it is witchcraft and sorcery, because if you go to the etymology of the word for pharmacy and all that, it goes back to pharmakia. And sorcery is just using toxic plants and claiming that it's medicine. So, you know, on the holy side, on the holistic side, we use like chamomile, bay, oregano, lavender, cannabis, like medicinal herbs, you know, peppermint, lemon balm. You know, we don't go into all that funky stuff. They use stuff that's inherently already poison, and think that, oh, you know, we're going to put it in this Tic Tac form. Just think of the damn candy, man. They say it in all these movies, you know, but people are too drugged out. They're like chemically lobotomized. They don't see it. And these are the people who, I don't even go to the movies. I screen everything, you know, as much as I can without paying for it online as an analysis, you know. But these people will go spend like retail and not even understand what they're watching. So, okay, Wizard of Oz comes from the book. I'm going to pull it up so you can see. It comes, Wizard of Oz movie that we're all familiar with, because that is the land, or the power of the poppy. You see, exploring opium. So we're living in the real land of Oz, and we're going to see how doublespeak is done in real time, all this wordplay, you know, redefining things, and so to get in people's heads so they can, suicide themselves with these pills and potions. So on page 96 it says, "I'm sorry," said the Scarecrow. "The lion was a very good comrade for one so cowardly, but let us go on." They carried the sleeping girl to a pretty spot beside the river, far enough from the poppy field to prevent her breathing any more of the poison of the flowers, and here they laid her gently on the soft grass and waited for the fresh breeze to awaken her. And most people don't know, like, this is the constituent. This is the base ingredient for morphine, codone. I mean, they don't just use it for, you know, the ones that people think people abuse, you know, and there's a difference between white witchcraft and, you know, black magic and stuff, and they had the white witch in here, so it showed you, you know, what this land is all about. And, you know, for all we know, that could be the Big Apple, that could be New York City. A lot of people say that's their hub, you know, so just remember that this was depicted and, you know, putting her to sleep and all that stuff. because just so you know, this is from Dopesick Season 1, Episode 1, and we're going to go over the Purdue family a little bit. I believe this is in the Boston area. This was in the movie too. So very true to life. They did a really good job replicating. I mean, the building, it had to be the same building. So, going to the Sacklers a little bit, and that was the family depicted. And of course, the huge lawsuits and how they, lied. They definitely sold a lie. And right here, Empire of Pain. This looks like a really great source. The Secret History. I mean, I can just imagine. Of the Sackler Dynasty. So these people have no remorse for what they did. I guess, millions have died. They said like 500,000 people, I think, actually have died. And they don't care. They're so self-serving.
The time has come to redefine the nature of pain. And for too long, the American medical community has been ignoring chronic pain. And this has created an epidemic of suffering. When we live with pain, we are not living our true selves. We are not living our best selves. We're not even living at all, because the pain overtakes our ability to think, feel, even to love. As you all know, when our patent for MS Cotton expires, it will deliver a significant blow to the company because it comprises 25% of our sales. However, I have a solution. I propose we take the extended time release of the cotton system and create a new opioid specifically designed to treat moderate pain for long-term use.
I don't see doctors prescribing an opioid for long-term pain. You don't chase a market, you create it. Please, Richard, tell me more.
Thank you, Uncle Arthur.
Doctor.
So he's the uncle. That's really, really interesting. Because when you go into this is a Sackler family tree, because the uncle, you see how he says that you don't chase a market, you create it. So you have to delve into some of these topics and listen to the words of the so-called madman, right? The madmen, the wizards behind the curtain, to understand, how they deceive people, and how, it's very effective. Just using some of these buzzwords to show you the power of words is like a sword. You just take the S and you put it in the front and it spells the word sword, and there's so much with this author, the Sackler, because he has a huge collection of manuscripts from the Far East. I made a vid on that about the Waukesha Shastra manuscripts that, I guess the Chinese government very, very upset with these people, calling them, raiders of the lost ark, you might say, the real ones. So they got a lot of manuscripts and, the ancient sources of pharmacology and whatever, and how to use certain chemicals. And, how's the population doing since they came around? So this is for fair use and education. So this is a really, really good, I don't want to take away from it. I just want to show, maybe I'll show a few more seconds, but I really appreciated that scene, because that scene was like, listen, we got to redefine pain. He sounded like he was talking about, something that happened to him. And we've become such a Twilight, so-called generation, Twilight zone. Because if you take enough of these, now all these young kids want to take shrooms and all this. Yeah, you're going to look, that's why they all look like this. They're all mad as a hatter, making no damn sense, right? Pretty sad.
Peterson, please tell the grand jury, when did you first hear about Oxycontin?
It was around the summer of 1996. A sales rep from Purdue Pharma told me that they had a new drug that was very effective in combating pain.
Pain was becoming a big buzzword at the time. There was a nationwide movement to rethink the treatment of pain.
Did Purdue Pharma spearhead this campaign?
I believe they did.
I don't know if it was them in particular, but their sales reps brought it up repeatedly.
The sales rep said the drug was different because it was basically non-addictive.
Had you ever heard of a non-addictive opioid?
No, sir, I had not.
And did he tell you what percentage of patients became addicted?
That was the key to the whole sales pitch.
He said less than 1% became addicted.
Less than 1% would become addicted to Oxycontin.
He said less than 1%. He called it a miracle drug.
Dr. Phoenix, did more than 1% of your...
It's funny how they call it miracles, too, for the scientific community that likes to be a bunch of drug pushers. Yeah, real nice. And you notice a lot of, the people who have tattoos because they're already so comfortable with needles and all. They're okay with a lot of this stuff, they're the ones, it's like, don't you know what you look like? But they're so quick to call people on the street junkies, right? They do it on the street level, but, if you got it from Big Pharma, then it's okay, right? Then if you got your little piece of paper, your permission slip called, a prescription, then it's okay. I mean, these people are nuts. And you see how they just say less than 1%, less than 1%. And it was, that's a famous quote, I think by Goebbels, that said if you repeat a lie often enough, people will come to believe it. And they can tell you, that the anything, even if it doesn't make any rational sense. Like in the history of, I guess, these so-called prescriptions, they were shown to be highly addictive, but they'll come in and say, no, this one's different. This one, we didn't need to follow the same rules like we did last time. This one's different. And isn't that what they do now with a lot of things, how they rush things through under the guise of a miracle, but yet call themselves scientific? That is a big doublespeak magic trick in itself.
Your patients become addicted to Oxycontin. Dr. Phoenix.
I can't believe how many of them are dead now.
That was so deep. Ooh, I got chills because if you watch the story, this is like the end from the beginning kind of thing. And he was so deceived, thinking he was being a good doctor, pushing this stuff. And so many people were getting destroyed, completely destroyed. And people think that this is their saving grace. And you'll see people too in the in these churches and all that, and they put on these white coats in these institutions, and they really deceive themselves with this double talk, really thinking, I can't vibe with people who work in the allopathy system, because there's so much research on it. You can't play stupid and naive anymore, and a lot of them are addicted themselves. They get free samples, even the secretaries, guys. Please, I've seen it all. That's why I had to remove myself from some so-called friendships, because can you really respect someone that can go to sleep at night and don't care as long as they're getting paid, whatever, as long as they're secure? And being a sellout comes in many forms, guys, and they're going to pay the ultimate judge at the end, because he's not playing with the sorcery, okay? And this is really inspired from Proverbs chapter 14, verse 12. There is a way which seems right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. That's why I creep a lot of people out. I'm like the harbinger of death or bad omens. I'll have to do a vid on that. I guess she was called the White Woman. It's like some type of spirit that would show up when someone was about to die. Don't you love that? But it's like I come with like this, this strong message, I guess. I don't mean to come across so intense or whatever, but like when you see all these connections, it breaks your heart because, of course, I know people who have been victims, right, of this whole so-called government experiment. And so just to let you know, because, so many people right here with spina bifida, it says right here, diseases and symptoms linked to drugs. And I had a niece who passed away with so-called cancer, and it just blew my mind, the ignorance of the people around her. And I don't know if her mom was on anything, but it even shows you here. I'll have to do a vid on this drug too, thalidomide, because a lot of birth defects because of that. And it was marketed as an anti-epileptic drug. And, it was given to a pregnant woman, and the children had spina bifida, very, very debilitating disability. And it says here it has been prescribed since 1978, and reports of the ingredient sodium valproate causing birth defects such as spina bifida go back almost as far. Fax is believed to have affected up to 20,000 babies, 10 times more than thalidomide. Fax is thought to be the cause in the first 3 months of pregnancy when an anti-epileptic drug crosses the placenta into the fetus. Effects depend on the dosage and the drug. There are 3 fax syndromes, each involving different anti-epileptic drugs, and each with their own set of symptoms. In 2010, Epilim was taken by more than 21,500 women aged between 20 and 39 for epilepsy and other conditions. It is indicated in 80% of cases. Wow. So many problems, disfigured faces, autism. I mean, we can go into it, my goodness. And people don't talk about, all this candy. You go to the candy man enough times, you're going to screw up your whole genetic line. Just saying. And you think they're taking all this stuff, they'll sit and talk about it and laugh and chuckle like, ho, 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 ho. They were like, oh, they'll just get addicted anyway. That was in another scene. I believe that was episode 4. So definitely a show worth watching. And if you didn't know, taking all this stuff, that's why everyone is so out to lunch. They want you dead asleep. So we don't talk about like all these real issues, like, the crimes against humanity. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of righteous men and women who are fighting this corruption. And so, I'm very thankful for them, and I do my part whenever I can. I put these vids out too, like we're all a team, the real Justice League. While everyone's all worried about their damn Saturnalia, their fake Thanksgivings, their fake freaking unholy days, and what's going on. You're seeing deaths at parades, you're seeing all this upheaval in the world, like, oh yeah, doing all this stuff is really great for the world. Yeah, these people are going to stay dead asleep, meanwhile being Dr. Kevorkian all the way to the afterlife, and they can go explain to the Most High how they didn't see it, what they were doing with their time, right? And so all of these things that are major plagues upon the 21st century, right? So there is a cause and effect. Because when you chemically alter your body, bad things happen. They say don't play with nature. Do not play with nature. It's going to have results. Oh, look at that. You see school shootings on this list. People don't even know the causes of a lot of these. Like there was a story how, let me get that story up real quick. I guess somebody, Christmas parade, right here, somebody literally drove through a marching band or a Christmas parade, which shows, like, I don't know why people are so shocked. First of all, with all this turmoil, what are you doing going to these damn parades, pushing your false deities around, you know? Yeah, Santa is like a play, another doublespeak for Satan. At least in Germany, they still know, like, he got a sidekick, Krampus, and it's more like dark over there because they still, you know, they still ascribe to the traditional, original story, not this watered down, hokey stuff. But, yeah, I guess in Waukesha Christmas parade, witness described surreal moment. SUV crashed into a marching band. You see that? So this just happened because I watched this today. I guess it was on Monday. So yeah, really, really, really interesting how current all of this stuff was, you know. And it's like, oh, they go to this parade, and the first, you know, the Travis Scott thing obviously didn't teach anybody a lesson, right? 5 dead, 40 injured. I mean, a lot of it is numerology. They love to play with these numerology games. So just saying, guys, I mean, it's definitely a lot of this. It's definitely a lot of this. And this show is very, very educational. Goes based on, you know, I guess it was a rendition inspired by this book by Beth Macy, Dealers, Doctors, and the Drug Company That Addicted America. The book Dopesick. And when you see that swirl, just remember when you go by Target next time, because a lot of people say, oh, I go to Target and I don't even know what I want to buy. Target tells me what to buy, right? Like there's some type of demonic energy. I'm like, people are creepy. So when you go into the term somnus, because when you go to oxycodone, guys, you know, just going into it, it tells you it's an opioid, and all the different things that can happen, and how it was first made from thebaine. Okay, very, very interesting. So it gives you a lot of information, and of course they get it all from the poppy plant. None of this is anything new. They use different types of poppy right here. You got the Papa Bracteatum. There was another kind too. But they really love their poppies. You know, poppy straw. Australia was the main producer, which now you see what's going on with Australia just so much. So it comes from these opium poppies. So the name of the plant in the Wizard of Oz, guys, so you know. And it has the word Papa, like, you know, dad, like, yeah, the Lord of Death, right? Hypnos, Baal, not the one of the highest heaven, not the living God. But it took me on all these journeys, and then it goes back to the Sacklers and how they have all, like, I guess Arthur Sackler has the largest collection of Asian artwork or Chinese art and manuscripts. So when I went down that road, I found so many different manuscripts that I could see that they were plagiarizing from. So a lot of our modern drugs, you know, and you got the word somni for the god Somnos, which I looked up, and it went to the god Hypnos, and I even made a connection in another vid on my Dia Dash that's on a band, how even went into morphine, and that I figured out that in the Matrix they want us to sleep too, even more, because Morpheus is the god of dreams, and the red and blue pill were simply morphine pills to keep us even more in the Matrix. So you see the color of this flower, right? How it's from the movie too, and all of these so-called drugs that people believe in. I mean, and The Sacklers could be, just reinventing themselves. They're good. They all do that. They'll give you your poison one way or another. They're not playing. And you can always look up Wordplay, Season 1, Episode 2 of the Twilight Zone. And we are like this Twilight generation. I was telling people too, because when you look up, it's just so funny, these words, and it's all starting to make sense how they use the Twilight Zone. It's kind of like when you're in and out of sleep, right? Like you're not fully awake. And they said like before the 20th century or the mid-19th century, people weren't using pills and potions like that. And of course, just like they redefined pain now, they did it with childbirth and made women think that childbirth was like life-threatening, when women were doing that since the time of Eve. And there's been unintended consequences for that. Thus, like this zombie generation that they call Generation Z, World War Z, right? They keep throwing in the zombie thing. And even in the new Doctor Strange movie, I mean, there's a lot of zombie connotations, that a zombie outbreak, right? Some type of quantum virus was released. So it made me really think about so much. But it gives you an like amnesia. So a lot of people's memories, that's a form of chemical lobotomy. And a lot of people, they say now that people have a memory of like 3 to 4 seconds, guys. Like the modern person, like Dory from that movie Nemo. So Twilight sleep, I guess this is an English translation of the German word Dämmerschlaf, is an amnesic state characterized by insensitivity to pain without loss of consciousness. So, these things can be injected too. I find it very hypocritical that people think it's okay when somebody in a white coat does it, regardless of what it does to a generation, and how like these are the biggest gangsters, mobsters, devils you will ever meet. And they're all controlled by these drug companies. It's very, very rare nowadays to find a physician of value, and you got to be a holistic one. If you're in a car accident and you're mangled and all that, and you need surgery to repair something, that's different. But to get surgeries and chemical bombardments for ailments and all that, and end of life stuff, people have said that it wasn't the sickness that took them out, it was the treatments. And so you got morphine. Said niece I was talking about, I believe, this is what happened, because this suppresses your breathing, and it gives you horrible, horrible side effects, which they talk about delirium and all that. And, Twilight birth, really sick, how many people now have children natural at home? Well, these children are not normal, folks. They're really not. They're literally Twilight children. That's why that movie Twilight comes out. That's why, they're all dyeing their hair, freaky colors, just acting the fool. They're not all right. They care about the wrong things. It's just they don't care about the state of the world, the oppression, how the world's just so poisoned, how people are being taken out left and right, as long as there's like a party to go to. And so these parades and all that, I mean, people still have no shame. They'll still drag their kids there and wonder why, like, all these people are let loose in these cars driving through whatever. You don't know what they were put on. Have you seen their medical records? How do you know they weren't set up to do that, right? Because this is ritual season. And look, chemical amnesia. So this is a chemical lobotomy. During labor, it was first introduced 1847, and this is really sick, because I guess went back to Queen Victoria, she used chloroform. I mean, damn, they keep saying, it's a cause of death. See, that's what doublespeak does, man. That's what it does. It totally distorts reality. So that's why when we don't see, it's good to see in real time. And look at this boy, his eyes are just like bugged out, different than his mom, right? A peasant mother in her twilight sleep, boy. That's crazy. yeah, I had one child with intervention with an epidural and one without it. Epidural, I don't recommend it because you'll have back pain for years to come, guys, years. And really debilitated a lot of people. I know people have sciatica issues to this day, and I had one child natural. Yeah, it hurt when I had the child natural, but guess what? I bounced back within like an hour. I felt like it brings you to, like, it's not something you're gonna die from. You think you're gonna die. You might think that you're gonna I was screaming out that I wanted to die, but I made it, and I was okay after, and I was actually a lot better than when I got the epidural. So you got the Twilight sleep, just showing. Check out wordplay, because you got the god Somnus, right? And this is, goes back to the Morpheus. They just want to stay to sleep. They just redefine things so it sounds like it's good. They make bad things sound good. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. I mean, really. And these people are master linguistics. It's called neuro-linguistic programming. When you say lies often enough, people will come to believe it. And they really, really play on, the hard life of the person, the laborers, because the movie took after, it was talking about the coal miners in Virginia and how hard their job is. And I understand that, because a lot of people do have these, I guess that's too small. But I like it how every tablet you take, you go down, 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 like that song from Cracker, how he's talking about the poppies too, going down low. And they were really playing on, like this young lady, she was a coal miner and stuff. And it's really crazy because they have all the technology for solar energy, for Tesla energy. No one should be even digging for coal or breaking their back or doing any of these labor-intensive jobs. And that's why so many people are just walking the hell out, right? They don't want to be part of this damn Twilight Zone anymore, and they go in, they think that what they're doing is right, trusting these people. I mean, I know people who are currently in these churches too, who call themselves nurses, who are medical secretaries, who get paid really well, guys. It's not like they're doing it pro bono. They get paid really well just to go along, to get along, right? And they're agents too. They're agents sent to put you asleep. And I was trying to get into discussions with certain people, and they kept saying, let's agree to disagree. Let's agree to disagree. No, let's disagree to disagree. Again, more doublespeak to get you, spiritual, like when you're onto something, right? When you're onto something, and these people are like, they pretend they don't see the evil. And I love this show because it totally blows out of the water what can happen, and that how you reap what you sow. Because the doctor who was prescribing his patients with all of that stuff, guys, the doctor, he got more addicted than anybody, okay? And it's just so much, because you see these school shootings too, how they talk about trauma and how they used pharma drugs to alter their mind. And so when you go into a lot of these stories, guys, right? You go into a lot of these stories, you find out their medical record and how they were chemically altered. This guy, it's funny how everyone looks at him like he's such a weirdo with the orange hair, but how many people are dyeing their hair blue, orange, red, this, that. Yeah, it's called, you've been chemically lobotomized. That's how you start to look, right? Because you go from, how you were born, the Most High doesn't make mistakes. And these are the same people online, acting like they're so godly, but then they hate everything that God made about themselves, and they have to change like every little thing, including like their hair to make it look like something It's not natural. But, you know, these stories, you know, a lot of people don't want to go into, like, what, like, no one, organically drives through a crowd or runs people over, right? Or, you know, has a secure job and then just starts opening fire on the masses and stuff. No one just does that unless they were altered in some way. They were given things. Oh man, that's just quite the list, huh? I'll put this here so you can read. That they were chemically altered by entities that do not give a shit. And that's why I don't Advil, none of that stuff, because when you see the derivatives, it was inherently dangerous and wicked to begin with. So I try to wake people up because they think sorcery and witchcraft is just somebody coming out with a Ouija board, talking about Harry Potter, or the stupidest shit. I mean, they take like the most superficial indications, you know. Just like how people try to do with narcissism. They think, oh, because someone's vain or just like cares about their appearance, that they're narcissists. Not that they don't have any empathy, that they get off on seeing other people in pain, like things like that. You know, you got to assess it the correct way. Because most people now, they're mad as a damn hatter. Their eyeballs are going in different directions. They're freaking bugged out looking. They're on so many different medications. They're pushing shrooms. That's a damn fungus too. Don't think that will freaking alter you and give you neurotoxicity. That's a form of altering your mind too. You go into the name of these plants. You got the Papaver somniferum. So I made this in my connection with this vid here. Big Pharma takes a page from the Rasa Sastra. It's a hard word, right? It's a mouthful. It's an Indian manuscript, because around the Silk Road there was a lot of migration, so a lot of the records were taken from China and then they go through India. So yeah, I really go into that too. So this is just more of that, because we just want to pull back the veil. And there's so much corruption here. They want everybody to go night-night, you know, into the ultimate, you know, sleep. And wow, when you go into the Twilight Zone and the Twilight Sleep, guys, and the Twilight Sleep, man, is there a wonder why stuff like this is happening? People are just crashing through these parades and stuff, but they'll still go to another one next week and tomorrow and stuff. They don't care. People are so Twilight Zone that how much more massacres and atrocities need to happen before people want to stop having a good time. It's all about having a... How do you have such a good time in such a wicked world with so much evil and oppression and deaths and stuff, you know? And then these people think, oh, I'm gonna die and click my heels and go to heaven. I mean, total Twilight people. I hope that that show really wakes people up, and that people will start watching it. And if I can, I'll put
If you're over 40 and struggle to lose weight, it's important that you
something's on.
Stop what you're doing and listen to what I'm about to tell you.
Something's messing me up, guys. I don't know where that came from. Please excuse me. But thank you so much for watching. I'm just going to cut it short here. Please watch Dopesick on Hulu. Wonderful, wonderful show. And I'm citing Fair Use for Education. They were really good last time. Oh, stupid ads. Well, have a great day, guys. And stay tuned for our next episode. I'll put this book up. We'll go into this one next.
What will be revealed to you is astonishing and natural way to lose weight.